They told us dinosaurs were long gone, extinct, erased from Earth by a cosmic disaster so catastrophic that nothing larger than a chicken survived. But what if that story isn't complete? What if extinction was not an absolute ending, but a transformation? What if some of those ancient creatures never truly disappeared, just hid where we weren't looking? For millions of years, the planet has been rewriting itself. Oceans shifted, continents moved, species evolved, vanished, and reappeared in new forms. But throughout those endless cycles, some lines of life have remained: crocodiles, sharks, birds, and possibly more. Think about it for a moment. Scientists estimate that over 80% of our oceans remain unexplored. We've mapped Mars better than we've mapped Earth's deep sea. And beneath those icy waters, in jungles we've never entered under the Antarctic ice sheets, what if something ancient still breathes? When paleontologists say the dinosaurs went extinct, they're referring to non-avian dinosaurs. The flying ones, those feathered, agile species, survived. Birds are living fossils, remnants of the age of giants. That's not science fiction, that's mainstream fact. But if evolution preserved them, who's to say it didn't preserve others too? Let's rewind back 66 million years to the day the skies fell. A massive asteroid slammed into modern-day Mexico, unleashing energy equal to billions of nuclear bombs. Fires swept across continents. Ash blotted out the sun. The dinosaurs, majestic rulers of the world for over 160 million years, stood no chance. The food chain collapsed. The mighty titans fell one after another. Yet the story doesn't end there. Fossil evidence shows that some smaller dinosaur species survived the aftermath. They adapted to new environments. Some grew feathers for insulation. Some developed faster metabolisms. Evolution rewarded flexibility, not might. Over time, those survivors became the first true birds. The phoenix rose from the ashes, literally. That's the part science accepts. But let's entertain another possibility. What if some of the large reptiles, particularly the aquatic or burrowing ones, found ways to endure in hidden corners of the world? Deep lakes, cavernous ecosystems, subterranean environments cut off from the surface extinction event. Could certain species have avoided annihilation simply by being in the right place? Take the coelacanth, for example, a fish believed to have been extinct for 65 million years until a live specimen was pulled from the Indian Ocean in 1938. Scientists were stunned. One of evolution's oldest lineages was simply hiding in the deep sea, untouched by time. If an ancient fish can survive undetected for millions of years, why not a reptile? That's where the mystery deepens. In the Congo Basin of Central Africa, an immense region of swamps, jungles, and isolated waterways, locals have long spoken of a creature called Moka-lembembe. They describe it as a massive, long-necked being with a powerful tail, moving through rivers and devouring vegetation along the shore. Its appearance, they say, resembles a sauropod, a plant-eating dinosaur thought to have gone extinct in the Cretaceous. Stories of Moka-lembembe stretch back centuries. Missionaries, explorers, and modern scientists have all heard the same accounts from tribes who live there. Expeditions have attempted to capture proof: sound recordings, sonar readings, mysterious footprints. But so far, no definitive evidence has been recovered. Skeptics dismiss it as folklore. But even skeptics admit the consistency of eyewitness descriptions over hundreds of years is extraordinary. Could Moka-lembembe be a relic population of prehistoric creatures, or simply an undiscovered animal that inspired the legend? The truth might lie somewhere between myth and reality. But if it is real, it would mean that at least one branch of dinosaurs never faded away. Now travel thousands of miles away to the freezing lakes of Scotland, Loch Ness, possibly the most famous mystery on Earth. For nearly a century, people have reported seeing a massive, serpent-like creature rising from the water. Long neck, humped back, ripples cutting through the mist. The idea sounds familiar, doesn't it? A plesiosaur, a marine reptile from the age of dinosaurs, not technically a dinosaur but a close relative. Scientists argue that plesiosaurs couldn't survive in a cold, freshwater lake. But something has kept the Loch Ness legend alive for generations. Even with sonar scans and modern surveillance, people still catch glimpses of something unusual. What they're seeing, whether it's a giant eel, a school of fish, or something else entirely, remains an open question. And then there's North America's answer to Nessie, Champ, the Lake Champlain monster. Descriptions of Champ date back to indigenous legends long before European settlers arrived. Modern sonar recordings from the lake show large moving bodies too big for known fish species. Again, no body, no bones, but the sightings persist. The pattern is clear. Remote, deep waters, legends of long-necked reptiles, mysterious sonar readings. Could they all share a root, ancient creatures adapted to modern isolation? But let's leave the lakes and venture south, to the last true frontier, Antarctica. Under that endless ice lies a land frozen in time. Not long ago, geologically speaking, Antarctica was warm, covered in forests and rivers. Dinosaurs once roamed its valleys. Fossilized remains of titanosaurs and ankylosaurs have been found there, suggesting the continent was teeming with life before it froze. Here's where things get strange. Some scientists believe there are massive subglacial lakes sealed beneath miles of ice, like Lake Vostok. It's completely cut off from the atmosphere for millions of years, making it a perfect time capsule. When researchers drilled into it, they discovered microscopic life thriving in these dark, ancient waters. That means entire ecosystems could exist beneath the ice, ecosystems untouched since the Cretaceous. Satellite scans have even revealed odd dome-like shapes and heat signatures below certain Antarctic ice fields, too structured to be simple geological formations, some say. Conspiracy theorists claim Antarctica hides a lost world beneath its surface, a prehistoric biosphere that might still shelter species we thought were wiped from existence. Unlikely, maybe. But then again, nature has survived in places we once thought lifeless, volcanic vents, nuclear zones, even outer space in microbial form. Life always finds a way. And maybe so did the dinosaurs. But what if I told you we might already have photographed one, without realizing it? In the early 1970s, NASA satellites captured unusual heat patterns coming from a small Pacific island chain that was supposedly uninhabited. When an environmental team explored years later, they found an isolated system of volcanic caves filled with unfamiliar reptiles. Genetic testing revealed they weren't new species, just ancient ones, pure, unchanged, and isolated. Evolution paused. That's not fiction. That's the Komodo dragon, a creature so old and fierce it's often mistaken for a dinosaur descendant. Another living fossil. So why not others? Let's step into the oceans again. If there are places where ancient giants could hide, it's underwater. The ocean is vast, deep, and mercilessly mysterious. Scientists estimate there could be millions of undiscovered species living in the deep sea. Submarine expeditions occasionally record massive, slow-moving shapes that disappear before identification. Monsters of myth, maybe. Survivors of prehistory, possibly. Consider this: mosasaurs and ichthyosaurs once dominated the seas. When extinction hit, we assumed they vanished completely. But for years, whalers in the 19th century reported sightings of enormous serpent-like creatures surfacing from the depths, larger than any whale known. Could these be mistaken identities of marine reptiles that simply adapted to the dark abyss? We once thought the giant squid was a myth, too. Sailors spoke of monstrous tentacles pulling ships under. Scientists mocked them. Until 2004, when we filmed a living giant squid in its natural habitat, more than 10 meters long, eyes the size of dinner plates. Reality defeated skepticism. So why do we dismiss the possibility of other prehistoric survivors? The world is rich with examples that tell us one thing: our planet's history is far from complete. And now genetic science is catching up to the old legends. The discovery of dinosaur proteins, semi-preserved soft tissue, and DNA fragments inside fossilized bones has changed everything. We're unlocking the ability to read the genetic blueprint of ancient species. Scientists have even reactivated dormant genes in bird embryos, producing rudimentary tails and teeth that vanished millions of years ago. We call it reverse evolution. Technically, we could reconstruct dinosaur traits again. But here's the twist: what if nature already has? Somewhere remote, in the wild heart of the Amazon rainforest or within polar caves, evolution may have quietly revived traits from its own ancient archives. Think of it like this: extinction doesn't always mean death, it can mean dormancy, a pause, and under the right conditions, that pause can lift. Dinosaurs, in whatever form they still exist, could be living proof that life never truly disappears, it just changes costumes. Now let's address another angle: the human connection. Why do we keep seeing reptilian cryptids almost everywhere on Earth? The chupacabra, the kangamato, the Jersey devil, even reports of winged lizards over Papua New Guinea, all hauntingly familiar shapes. It seems our collective memory holds a blueprint for creatures long gone. Could it be that ancient humans, during early migration, actually encountered remnants of those species? creatures that faded before written history but stayed alive in our stories. Folklore may be humanity's fossil record of memory. The dragons of China, the feathered serpents of Mesoamerica, the thunderbirds of North America, all could stem from deep-seated recollections of real encounters with the last of Earth's ancient rulers. Maybe myth is how we preserve truth when evidence crumbles. And then there's the Antarctica theory, a continent we still know shockingly little about. Military archives from the mid-20th century mention Operation Highjump, an American expedition supposedly for exploration, but filled with anomalous reports, strange aerial lights, unusual radar readings, missing aircraft. Over the years, whispers have emerged of subterranean ice caverns and massive heat sources detected under the surface. If there's anywhere left on Earth that could hide relic life forms, it's there. We might imagine them frozen and waiting, a prehistoric kingdom buried under glass. Or we might imagine them deep below the ocean's crust, in volcanic tunnels where time forgot to move forward. Science will demand evidence, and it's right too. But imagination, when balanced with logic, is what drives discovery. The idea that dinosaurs could have survived challenges our arrogance. We assume we know the world. Yet every new species scientists find in unexplored terrain reminds us how blind we still are. Maybe we'll never find a living T-Rex or a Triceratops lumbering through the rainforest. Maybe the age of giants really is over. But there might still be hidden descendants, creatures that adapted, scaled down, and thrive quietly beyond our reach. They may not look like movie monsters, but in every hawk's glare, every Komodo's crawl, and every shark's sleek movement, the Jurassic spirit endures. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere deep in the shadowy wilderness, behind the fog, under the ice, or miles beneath the sea, something older still moves, something carrying the memories of an era when they were kings, a species that defied extinction and outlived myth itself. Until we've explored every last corner of this Earth, the possibility remains alive. The real Jurassic Park might not be fenced or engineered. It's wild, hidden, and breathing quietly around us. Maybe one day, a blurry photograph or a sonar ping won't just be speculation, it'll be confirmation. And when that day comes, we'll realize we never left the age of dinosaurs at all. It merely changed seasons. Because in the story of life on Earth, there's one rule that has never changed. Life always finds a way.